$25. That's what my daughter thought I was worth, until the lawyer's hands started shaking. The conference room felt like a glass cage 42 floors above Chicago. Madison wouldn't look at me. 3 weeks since her mother died, and this was the first time we'd been in the same room. Attorney Gerald Strauss opened the leather portfolio. His voice went formal, distant. The last will and testament of Catherine Elizabeth Montgomery Crawford. Madison's phone stopped mid-scroll. 200 million. I watched her lean forward like a wolf spotting prey. To my beloved daughter, Madison Claire Crawford, I leave the entirety of my estate. She actually smiled. First time I'd seen that expression in 5 years. But it wasn't warmth, it was hunger. Valued at approximately $200 million to be transferred. Finally, Madison exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for years. Gerald's jaw clenched. However, there is a provision regarding Michael Crawford. Her head snapped toward me, then back to Gerald, calculating. To my former husband, I leave the sum of $25. What she did next, I should have seen it coming, but nothing prepares you for your own daughter's cruelty. Madison's laughter cut through the silence. Sharp, vicious, the kind that leaves scars. $25. She finally looked at me. You get $25, Dad? That's hilarious. Mom really knew your worth, didn't she? Have you ever been in a room where someone you loved treats you like you're nothing? That's where I lived for 15 years. I didn't respond, just folded my hands and waited, because I knew something she didn't. Miss Crawford, there's more. More? She was practically glowing. What more? She left him pocket change, which is exactly what he contributed. $25 for 25 years of being completely useless. Gerald turned the page. His face drained white. His hands trembled hard enough that the paper shook. What? Madison's voice sharpened, predator sensing something wrong with the kill. There's a codicil added 1 week before your mother's death. The air pressure changed. Even Madison went still. Gerald's voice cracked. It says, "The above bequest was written when I was angry and wrong. Michael, the $25 represents the 25 years you gave me, the 25 years you sacrificed, the 25 years I stole from you." My chest felt like someone had reached inside and squeezed. Madison stood up fast. What is this? What Madison doesn't know, what I never told her, is that Michael isn't just her father by marriage. The room tilted sideways. Madison's face went from smug to terrified in 3 seconds flat. And everything I built, Gerald continued, wasn't built alone. Think about it. If someone stole your life's work and turned your own child against you, would $25 feel like an insult? Or something else entirely? Gerald looked between us. His professionalism was cracking. Miss Crawford, there's something about your inheritance that changes everything. Madison's confidence shattered. What does that mean? What is she talking about? Gerald whispered, "The truth is, Madison was never supposed to inherit alone. Most people miss the signs until it's too late. Subscribe. You'll want to see where this goes." I sat there watching my daughter's world collapse. And then Gerald said the words I'd been waiting 5 years to hear. "Mr. Crawford, did you know your wife forged your signature 28 years ago? What Catherine forged wasn't just documents. It was Madison's entire existence. And the proof was about to destroy everything." Before I could answer Gerald's question, I had to go back. Back to 1995. Back to when Catherine and I were young, broke, and stupid in love. Chicago, late spring, 1995. I was 32, running my own architecture firm from a cramped River North office. 3 employees, 6 active projects, 1 dream commission, a museum that would have put my name on the map. Then Catherine walked into a networking event at the Palmer House. 28, brilliant, electric. She pitched her tech startup idea to anyone who'd listen. Revolutionary software that would change how businesses manage data. Zero funding, zero connections, all fire. You ever meet someone and just know they'll either save your life or ruin it? Sometimes both. 6 months later, she proposed. Marry me. Let's build an empire together. I said yes. 1997, the fork in the road. Her company got a critical investor meeting. Same week, my museum project needed me on site in Milwaukee. Choose, Catherine said at 2 a.m., papers spread across our kitchen table. Your ego project or our future? Not really a choice when she framed it that way. I closed my firm, liquidated everything, portfolio, retirement, the condo I'd bought at 25, $847,000. My entire adult life in a wire transfer. Catherine's eyes were wet when I showed her the bank confirmation. We're partners, 50-50, forever. No contract, no paperwork, just trust. Comment below, would you give up everything for someone you love? Or am I the idiot everyone thinks I am? Madison's birth, September 1997. Catherine's company secured Series A funding 3 weeks before her due date. She took calls during contractions. I was the one who cut the umbilical cord, who stayed up those first 6 months, who learned the difference between hunger cries and tired cries. Catherine was building, always building. Those years blur together now. Madison's first steps, I was there, phone camera ready. Catherine was in Tokyo. Madison's first word, "Dada," happened while I was making breakfast. Catherine's office had already called twice by 7 a.m. School plays, soccer practices, skinned knees, parent-teacher conferences, science fair projects taped together at midnight. All me. Catherine's company went public. Valuation $50 million. She hired a PR firm. They rewrote the company origin story. In the new version, she'd bootstrapped everything herself. Visionary founder, self-made titan. My name disappeared. It's cleaner this way, she explained. Investors prefer the solo founder narrative. I said nothing. We had Madison to think about. 2012. The poison sets in. Madison was 15. Smart, beautiful, cold. Dad, why don't you have a real job? She asked it casually, like she was asking about the weather. I raised you. Mom built a company. You made lunches. There's a difference. Catherine's words, coming out of my daughter's mouth. 2020. The divorce. I want out, Catherine said. No emotion, like she was firing an underperforming employee. After 23 years? You've been dead weight for 23 years. I'm finally cutting you loose. Madison sided with her mother, instantly, completely. 23 years old and looking at me like I was a stranger who'd overstayed his welcome. The settlement was insulting. $250,000. From a woman worth $150 million at the time. I took it. Moved to Evanston, worked freelance architecture gigs to pay rent. Lost everything. Back to the law office, present day. Mr. Crawford, Gerald repeated. Did you know about the forgery? I pulled out my own folder, 5 years thick. I found out during the divorce, I said quietly. DNA test, bank records, everything. Madison's face went slack. What DNA test? Gerald looked between us, realization dawning. Mr. Crawford, you've known for 5 years that Madison isn't biologically yours. Subscribe now. This twist is just the beginning. Yes, I've known, but what Madison doesn't know, what Catherine never told her, is whose DNA it actually is and why he's been watching her entire life. The name on that DNA donor form, it wasn't random. Catherine chose him specifically, and he just offered Madison $200 million to forget I ever existed. The name on the DNA report made me physically sick, not because of who it was, because of what it meant Catherine had been planning all along. Gerald's hands shook harder now. Before we continue, I need to disclose something. Dr. Richard Brennan has been in contact with our firm multiple times regarding Madison. Madison's voice cracked. Who the hell is Richard Brennan? I answered before Gerald could. Your biological father, billionaire, pharmaceutical CEO, Catherine's college boyfriend, and currently under federal indictment for fraud. She sat down hard, like her legs had stopped working. Catherine arranged private IVF using his sperm, I continued. My voice sounded detached, clinical. Forged my signature on the consent forms. I thought we were using an anonymous donor, but she'd contacted Brennan specifically. Why? Madison whispered. Insurance, Gerald said, pulling out another document. Your mother left a letter explaining everything. Michael, if you're reading this, I'm already gone, and you deserve the truth. When we tried to conceive naturally and couldn't, I panicked. I wanted an heir with superior genetics, someone brilliant, driven, powerful. Brennan was all those things. I contacted him, explained my plan, and he donated without hesitation. He waived all parental rights, or so I thought. 2 months before I died, Brennan contacted me. He'd changed his mind. He wanted to meet Madison, and he wanted something in return. Access to my company through her inheritance. Madison's face cycled through emotions too fast to track. Imagine finding out everything about your identity is a lie, that you're not who you thought you were, that your existence was a business transaction. Drop a comment. How would you react? Gerald turned to page 3. His voice steadied, professional armor sliding back into place. Mrs. Crawford's revised will stipulates the following. Madison inherits $100 million if, and only if, she publicly acknowledges Michael Crawford's contribution. Full documentation, press conference, everything. Madison started to speak. Gerald held up his hand. Michael Crawford receives $100 million immediately. Recognition of his $847,000 investment adjusted for equity growth, plus compensation for 28 years of single-handedly raising Madison. I laughed. Actually laughed. First time in weeks. I don't want the money, Gerald. Everyone stared. What I want, I said, looking directly at Madison, is for my daughter to finally see what her mother did to both of us. Madison's phone buzzed. She glanced down. Her face went white. It's him, Brennan. He's texting me, she said. Her voice shook. He says he'll give me $200 million to contest the will, to publicly accept him as my father. Here's where it gets complicated. If you were Madison, what would you do? Take the money from a stranger, or acknowledge the man who raised you? Gerald leaned forward. Miss Crawford, I need to warn you. Dr. Brennan doesn't want a daughter. He wants a defendant-friendly character witness before his trial. You'd be a prop. Madison's hands were shaking now, too. There's one more thing, Gerald said. Your mother left you a box. I'm instructed to give it to you only after revealing the will's terms. A leather box, worn, gold nameplate for Madison. Inside, stacks of letters, hundreds of them. Madison picked up the top one. Her hands trembled as she unfolded it. Dear Catherine, Madison turned 3 today. She asked where you were. I told her you were building something important. She said, more important than my birthday? I didn't know how to answer. I'm writing this because someday I hope she understands that I never stopped fighting for her, even when she couldn't see it. Love, Michael. Madison's face crumbled. You wrote to her? About me? Every month for 28 years, I said quietly. begging her to tell her the truth. She kept them all, never showed you a single one. This is the part where everything changes. Don't miss what happens next. Subscribe. Madison opened the second letter, started reading, and that's when her phone rang. Brennan, calling, demanding her answer. She looked at me, then at the phone, then at the stack of letters. What do I do? For the first time since she was 8 years old, she was asking me for help. I told her the truth. Your mother set this up so you'd have to choose, not between money, between who you want to be. And then I stood up to leave because some decisions you have to make alone. I gave Madison 3 days. No contact, no pressure. Just her, those letters, and the hardest choice of her life. On day 4, she showed up at my apartment at 6 a.m. She looked like she hadn't slept. Eyes red, hair pulled back, the leather box under her arm. I read them all, she said. No greeting, just standing in my doorway. Every single letter. 28 years. I stepped aside, let her in. My Evanston abutment was small, 1 bedroom, kitchen table from IKEA, nothing like the penthouse she'd grown up in. She stood in the center of my living room like she didn't know what to do with herself. Coffee? I asked. Why didn't you fight for me? The words exploded out. All those letters. You were begging Mom to tell me the truth, but you never told me yourself. Why? I poured 2 cups, bought time. Because your mother asked me not to, and because I believed someday you'd see it on your own. That's bullshit, her voice cracked. That's complete bullshit and you know it. Maybe, but it's the truth. Her phone rang. Brennan, again. She'd been ignoring him for 3 days. Answer it. Put it on speaker, I said. She hesitated, then hit accept. Madison. Brennan's voice was smooth, controlled, executive command. We need to talk, face to face. I'm in Chicago. Let's meet. Why? Madison asked, her voice stronger than I expected. Because I'm your daughter. Because I want to know you. Because $200 million should be enough motivation to at least have coffee. You donated sperm 28 years ago. That doesn't make you my father. Silence on the other end. Then, don't be naive. Catherine used me for my genetics. I'm using you for my public image. Let's at least be honest about the transaction. Madison's face went hard. Something clicked behind her eyes. Are you recording this conversation, Mr. Brennan? What? No, why would... Because I am. And I'm sitting with FBI agents right now who are very interested in your settlement offer. Lie, but beautiful. Brennan's panic bled through the phone. You're bluffing. Am I? Want to keep talking about bribing me to commit perjury in your federal trial? The line went dead. That's called a power move. Common if you've ever had to outmaneuver someone trying to use you. Madison looked at me, almost smiled. Did I just burn that bridge? Completely. Good. She sat on my worn couch, held her coffee like she needed something to grip. Those letters. The one for my 8th birthday. You wrote about how I'd made you a card that said, "Best dad ever." And Mom threw it away because she said it was manipulative. I remembered. You cried for an hour. I forgot about that. I forgot so many things. How did you not hate me? After everything I said to you, everything I did. I wanted to sometimes. There were nights I'd sit here and replay every cruel thing you'd said. But then I'd remember you at 5 bringing me drawings, at 10 falling asleep on my shoulder during movies, and I'd realize you didn't become cold on your own. Your mother taught you how. She was poisoning me against you. For years. Little comments. Your father's not ambitious. Your father's settled. Your father's weak. She needed you to believe I was worthless. Otherwise, you might have asked questions about where her money came from. Madison's phone buzzed. Text from Brennan. Last chance. $200 million or I go public about your parentage. She showed me the screen. He's threatening me now. Let him. Better yet, I grabbed my phone. Call the actual FBI. I know someone from the divorce investigation. 2 hours later, Madison was sitting in a federal building downtown, officially recording her conversations with Brennan. 3 more calls. Each one he dug himself deeper. Bribery, threats, obstruction. The prosecutors loved it. Watching someone self-destruct in real time? Subscribe. You won't want to miss the ending. 1 week later, Madison held a press conference. Chicago media packed the room. I stood in the back, trying to stay invisible. She stepped up to the microphone, looked directly at the cameras. "My name is Madison Crawford, and I have something to say about my father." What she said next, I didn't expect it. Nobody did, and it changed everything between us in under 2 minutes.
Madison took a breath. Every camera in the room focused on her, and then she started talking. Catherine Montgomery Crawford built a tech empire worth $200 million, Madison said, her voice steady, clear. But she didn't build it alone. The reporters leaned forward. In 1997, my father, Michael Crawford, invested $847,000, his entire life savings. He closed his architecture firm, he gave up his career, and for 28 years, nobody knew because my mother erased him from the story. Cameras flashed. Madison didn't flinch. My father raised me. Every school play, every soccer game, every moment that mattered. While my mother built her company, he built my childhood, and I repaid him by treating him like he was nothing. Her voice cracked. She pushed through. I was wrong. He's worth more than $200 million. He's worth everything. I felt tears burning, refused to let them fall in front of cameras. Madison accepted Catherine's will terms. $100 million for her, $100 million for me. Together, we established the Crawford Montgomery Foundation. Mission: funding single parents pursuing entrepreneurship. First grant: $50,000 to a 33-year-old architect who'd abandoned his firm to support his kids. I'm donating $90 million to the foundation, I told Madison 2 weeks later. She stared. You're keeping only $10 million? Enough to live on, not enough to forget where I came from. You're insane. Maybe, but money's not why I fought. I just wanted my daughter back. If someone gave you $100 million, how much would you keep? Comment your honest answer. Madison moved to a condo 3 blocks from my apartment. We had coffee every Sunday morning, slowly rebuilding what Catherine had broken. She called me Michael for 6 months. I didn't push. Some things take time. Then one Sunday, she slipped. Pass the sugar, Dad. We both froze. She looked terrified, like she'd made a mistake. Thanks, sweetheart, I said, kept my voice normal, didn't make it a big deal. But inside, something cracked open. Playing catch on a Sunday afternoon, Madison threw wild. I jogged to retrieve the ball. Hey, Dad, the word came easy now. Think Mom would be proud? I looked at the Chicago skyline, Catherine's company logo still glowing on the tallest building downtown. I think she'd be relieved we finally found each other again. Madison smiled. 25 years late. Better late than never. In my apartment, that $25 check framed on the wall. Next to it, a photo from Madison's 8th birthday. Me covered in cake, her laughing, pure joy on her face. The most expensive $25 I ever earned. If this story hit you, don't keep scrolling. Subscribe. There's more coming. 3 months ago, a courier delivered an envelope, law firm letterhead, to be opened 1 year after the will reading. Inside, a flash drive. Label, insurance, for Michael only. I plugged it into my laptop, video file. Catherine recorded 2 weeks before her death, looking exhausted, scared, and finally honest. Michael, if you're watching this, Madison chose you. My plan worked. This video contains my full confession, every forgery, every theft, every lie. It's legally admissible evidence. Use it if Brennan ever threatens our daughter. She paused, wiped her eyes. And Michael, I'm sorry. You deserved a partner. You got a parasite. You deserved respect. You got erasure. You deserved love. You got betrayal. But you gave Madison something I never could. Unconditional love. Not transactional, not strategic, just love. Thank you for being the parent I wasn't. Thank you for not poisoning her against me when you had every right. Thank you for being better than me in every way that mattered." The video ended. I sat there for a long time. Then I called Madison. "Can you come over? There's something you need to see." We watched Catherine's confession together, both of us crying by the end. She knew. She knew what she'd done, and she was trying to fix it. The only way she knew how. Madison leaned against my shoulder like she used to when she was small. "Do you forgive her?" she asked. I thought about it. Really thought. "I'm working on it. Some days yes, some days no. But I forgive you. Completely." She started sobbing, the kind that shakes your whole body, 28 years of poison finally draining out. Real talk, was Catherine a villain or was she just broken? Drop your take in the comments. I'm curious what you think. Last Sunday, Madison brought someone to coffee, nervous, excited. "Dad, this is Trevor, my boyfriend. I wanted you to meet him." First time she'd introduced me to anyone. First time she'd wanted my approval. "Nice to meet you, sir," Trevor said, shaking my hand. "Call me Michael." Then I caught Madison's eye. She was smiling, really smiling. "Actually," she said, "call him what I call him. This is my dad." Sometimes revenge isn't about winning. It's about holding up a mirror until everyone, including yourself, sees the truth. Catherine's last gift wasn't money. It was clarity. It was forcing Madison to choose. It was giving me back my daughter. And that was worth every single one of those 25 years. We all have complicated family stories. If this one resonated, you're not alone. Subscribe, and let's keep this conversation going. Before you go, if you could tell Madison one thing at the beginning of this story, what would it be? Was the $25 an insult or a gift? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever had to rebuild a relationship from scratch? Share your story below. The $25 check still hangs on my wall, next to Madison's 8th birthday photo. And every time I look at it, I remember, some things aren't measured in money. They're measured in moments. And I got 28 years of moments back. Sometimes, the best revenge is just healing.